Okay. So back in February, I decided that I was going to learn how to write a great American novel and produce a rough draft of a short story by the end of this semester. I love stories, whether they come in the form of plays, musicals, ballets, TV shows, movies. Stories allow us to see through the eyes of characters and experience things that we would never fully understand through our own lives. That is why, when told I would be spending 20% of my English class time working on essentially any project I wanted, I knew I wanted to write a story. So the first question I asked was, what makes a story great? I knew the only real way to answer this question was to research and read great American novels. Previously, I had read To Kill a Mockingbird, and then I wanted to read The Great Gatsby and The Bell Jar. We ended up reading The Great Gatsby in class, and then I read The Bell Jar on my own. All three of these books was vastly different, but I was looking for a common ground, a common theme or idea that I could incorporate into my story. The only real similarity I could find was the central idea of death. Death appeared in homicides and suicides. So my second question was, why is death such a common theme in this great American literature? After furthering my research, I realized that people look for books that have emotion and meaning and depth. And that was something I wanted my book to have. I wanted to have meaning. I wanted it to be powerful. But I didn't necessarily want it to be about death. I wanted it to be happy and optimistic. I thought about the things I believe in, my personal views, my political ideas, and from there I created my theme that I wanted my short story to have. See the beauty in individuals and learn something from every person. Once I had established my tone and my theme, I then knew I would need to begin to write. I wanted to have the general structure that any novel would have, and I wanted it to focus on a trip that my character would be taking. Essentially, I wanted it to be a condensed novel. I started to write, and quickly my computer was filling up with draft upon draft, all for them to be discarded quickly because I never liked any of them. At first, my writing was long-winded, it was verbose, it was hard for me to actually develop the plot at a proper pace. So instead, I decided I was going to write through a series of journal entries. I could write more poetically, through fragments. There could be more ideas and opinions, but the story could progress a lot faster. I could write about things after they happened, instead of having to describe everything as it occurred. By doing this, I could also avoid dialogue, which I don't really like to write or read, so for that I was very happy. My story had a lot of ideas. There was a lot going on. It was a reflection of how my character thought. By writing this way, it was very easy for me because I could kind of write how I think and how my character thought. After writing this, I really realized how much of my voice was shining through, how much my character sounded and acted like me, and that's why it was so easy for me to write this way. There are a lot of things I would like to change about my story. I wish it was longer and more developed. I wish the characters had more detail. I wish I could have fixed some holes that happened to exist. Throughout this process, there were also things I wanted to change. I wanted to actually get to see authors talk and hear them speak, but due to scheduling conflicts and some cancellations, that never ended up happening. But ultimately, I learned that I am not only a passionate writer, but I am a passionate storyteller. And that is something that I've really learned from Genius Hour, and I'm so grateful that I got to figure that out. I hope in the future that I can not only continue to write, but to tell stories and express what I truly believe, and that I can share my opinions with the world. Thank you very much.